Alright, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. And today I've got a story time for y'all I think you'll enjoy. It was sent in to me by a subscriber about the time he was at the skate park minding his own business, and then all of a sudden everybody got into a huge brawl because somebody felt insulted that somebody didn't smack the board on the ground after they had landed a trick. Absolutely ridiculous. Skate parks are not normally like this. I don't want anyone to get that impression, but I thought it was pretty entertaining, so I figured, what the heck, let's make it into a video. So without further ado, let's go. Alright, so the person who sent this to me doesn't really spend a lot of time in any skate park in their town, but especially the one that they happened to be at this day. They had spent the night at a friend's house, and this friend lived near this skate park, so they ended up going there that morning just to skate a little bit because his mom wasn't a big fan of them like doing any street skating by businesses or anything. So they were just gonna go hang out at the skate park. And they get there, and they're immediately a little bit confused because it looks like they walked into the middle of a really bad Disney movie from the 90s that was taking place about like two rival sick skate park crews. Because there was one group of kids that were on a variation of skate park stuff like skateboards, bikes, scooters, the whole shebang. And the other group had the same thing, but they also had one guy that was a rollerblader. And they were just kind of staring each other down, arms folded, like giving each other dirty looks, but the subscriber and his friend didn't really know what was going on. He asked his friend who was from there, and he's like, yeah, these guys are always here, but I don't really know what's up with the drama right now. So they just ignored it, went over to this section of the skate park where there was like this ramp and a rail and nobody else was. And they just kind of start skating, and they're really confused because they're skating for probably a solid 3 or 4 minutes, and the two groups of people are still just kind of standing there, arms folded, like giving each other dirty looks. And it's starting to feel a little bit like West Side Story. Everybody's about to start snapping and walking towards each other like, we're gonna fight in a dance battle. And finally, the one group that has the rollerblader, right? The rollerblader drops into this bowl and comes out the other side, and the other side happens to be by the other group of kids. And he's just kind of rollerblading past them, which I don't know if they hated the guy or what, but he wasn't saying anything, he wasn't doing anything, he was just rollerblading past them, and I guess one of the guys in the other group didn't like the fact that he had decided to rollerblade past them in a skate park, because next thing, one of them, it wasn't really clear which one because they were all standing in a group, sticks their foot out and just kicks the leg of the one rollerblader. And he kind of goes off balance, but instead of just falling, he ends up falling into the bowl, which probably did not feel very good. Maybe he got lucky and like landed at the perfect angle and slid down the bowl, but either way, not very cool to trip someone while they're going past you for no reason, but especially not cool to trip them right next to like a 12-foot ledge. And obviously the group that was hanging out with the rollerblader is like, bro, what? And so they all start going over there, and they are screaming the entire time they're going over there like, oh my god, what's wrong with you guys? If he's hurt, you guys are done. You better hope that he's okay, which, to be fair, is the good friend thing to do. Like, if I was just hanging out and my friend was walking past another group and they decided to like kick him and shove him to the floor, I would go help him. I'm not just gonna let him do nothing about it, but especially if my friend happened to fall into a bowl after, I would definitely go over there and help him because he might have a serious injury or something. You fall into a bowl with too much speed and don't get to like slide down any part of the ramp, just go straight to the flat ground, and you land on any bone wrong, that's breaking. Like, that really can be a 10-15 foot fall depending on the size of the bowl. But the group that tripped him is kind of acting like it was really cool. They're all high-fiving each other over it, which very not swag. And so the group that's coming to defend their rollerblading friend is pissed because they're not apologizing. They're not like, dude, we just meant to trip you, we didn't mean to make you fall down there. They're high-fiving and clapping and laughing about it. And so they start to get over to their friend who's in the bottom of the bowl, and thankfully he was okay. And the only reason the subscriber and his friend knew that he was okay is because they see him climb out of the bowl. And so the two groups are staring at each other from closer now, and then all of a sudden the rollerblader guy apparently was so uninjured that he starts rollerblading over to them again. Except this time he's not trying to peacefully go by. He had basically used his rollerblades to get as much speed as humanly possible and do like a punch in the face drive-by. He goes past the de facto leader of the group that had tripped him and just punches him in the face. And after he punches him, he turns left and this time drops into the bowl. he doesn't necessarily fall into it, unlike the last time. He wanted to go on his terms down the bowl. But he kind of hits this dude and then does a runner, which I don't know how I feel about that. On one hand, I feel like it's kind of justified just because they tripped him and shoved him into the bowl. He gets one punch and run. On the other hand, if you're going to punch somebody, kind of cringe to run away right after. Obviously, though, they realize that their leader just got punched in the face, so they start freaking out and they start running at the rollerbladers crew. So now these two crews of like 10 people are just charging at each other. The people on bikes have dropped their bikes. The kids on scooters have dropped their scooters. A few of the skaters have picked up their skateboards looking like they're going to use them as if it's a chair in a wrestling match, you know. I'm going to hit you with my skateboard. And it's just chaos. And at that point, the subscriber and his friend decide to jump out of the bowl and run over there because you got to need a better view at that point. I'm not advocating for fighting in the skate park. I'm advocating against it. Don't get into a giant brawl in the skate park, okay? I'm going to make that clear. That being said, if there already is a brawl going on in the skate park, of course you're going to go watch it. What, are you not supposed to enjoy the free entertainment? You're telling me that if you were at a skate park and like 20 people just started fighting after someone on rollerblades did like a drive-by punch, you wouldn't want to go watch it. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're such a mature person. I don't like that. Good for you. I'm going to go watch it because it's definitely going to be entertaining. Anyways, they get over there and they're just fighting. It's absolutely chaotic. People are hitting each other. Some people had fallen into the bowl and now they're fighting in the bowl. And so the people that are watching this are standing down looking into the bowl. And one of the guys goes to escape and kind of like runs up the side, puts his hand on and starts trying to pull himself up to get out of there. But dude, this bowl fight is basically turning into like the Sarlacc pit from Star Wars, and he's Boba Fett trying to crawl out because a bunch of people run over and grab onto his legs as he's trying to climb out of this bowl and like pull him back in. Oh, no, you don't. You thought you were getting away that easy? Think again. Like, that's the vibe going on. So they pull him back into the bowl, and it's just chaos. And the subscriber who sent this to me and his friend are watching this, and they're, like, not yelling to stop. They're not encouraging it. They're not, like, keep fighting, but they don't want to start yelling at them either, because clearly they're pretty okay with hitting people in the face for little to nothing. But the skate park happened to be situated by the playground, and there were still some people on top of the bowl fighting, and I guess some mom who was at the playground with her kids decided that it was in the best interest to come break up the fight. And I'm not gonna call her a Karen because it probably is the right thing to do. Like, let's be honest, as much as we hate to admit it, it's the right thing to do for an adult to come over and break up the fight. But she runs over and she's doing like the mom way of trying to get people to stop things. And listen, I think all adults do this for some reason. It's not particular to moms, but instead of like yelling at them to knock it off or like, hey guys, you're at a skate park, stop it with some authority, adults will just kind of start screaming something over and over again. At least my parents do. Like sometimes my mom, if she wanted me and my brother to stop something, it would just be like, stop, 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 stop. And that's basically what this lady starts doing, is just like, stop it, stop fighting. And obviously that doesn't do a lot to stop fighting. These guys are like punching each other in the face, and now all of a sudden, very faintly compared to everything going around, it's like, stop that, stop that. Like they're probably not going to stop fighting. So she decides she has to do something. So she runs back over to like wherever her stuff was at the playground and runs back in with like 3 water bottles and just starts dumping water on the people that are fighting to try to snap them out of it. And it works on the few people that were still on the top of the bowl because they were more like in a 1v1 fight. So they're like, dude, what the heck? Why is this lady dumping water on me? But when she gets to the 3rd water bottle, she's just dumping it into this chaos. And it's not stopping them. Now it's just like chaotic. It's still all these people in the bowl fighting. Now they're just wet and the floor is slippery. So people are starting to like slip and slide. And not in a fun way, not like the slip and slide you have in the summer where you get going and inevitably give yourself a grass burn because you go off the end of it. No, I'm talking about like sliding, falling, and they're just still going at it. And at this point, the fight's probably been going for a good 4 or 5 minutes, which is a long time for a fight. And so the mom is yelling, they're all yelling because they're fighting each other. And at that point, a cop on a bike pulls up into the skate park. And he gets off his bike and he's like, guys, stop it, stop it. And that's when everybody kind of is like, oh, all right. But instead of stopping it and calmly shaking each other's hands and saying, good sport, now they realize that there's a cop there. So both groups are now trying to just get out of there. Which, listen, if you were just involved in some giant brawl where people are trying to stop you, there's 20 people involved, you're in a public place, it's a park. Yeah, when the cops show up to break it up, it probably is a good idea to get out of there. You don't want to be the one kid that he happens to catch and you get in trouble for everybody fighting. But all the people involved in the fight just start running, and the cops trying to catch them, but there's only one of him, and there's 20 of them, and they're all running away, and they're not like fighting the cop, they're just trying to get out of there. And plus, on top of it, once they grab their stuff, they're on skateboards, bikes, scooters, they're getting out of there. The cop's bike, he's like, doesn't have time to get back to it, whatever, they get away. He doesn't get any of them, but the entire scene of them like scattering like cockroaches, on top of the absurdity of them fighting in the bowl with someone dumping water on them, screaming to stop it, would make anyone laugh if they were sitting there watching it. So the subscriber who sent this to me and his friend are laughing, not at the fact that they got away, they're not laughing at the cop, but yet the entire situation is just funny. Like, it's not every day you go to the skate park and 20 people start fighting in the deep end of a bowl. Like, everyone was at a pool party, the water evaporated, and they were really pissed off about it, so they just started throwing hands right there. That's not something you expect to happen on a day-to-day basis. But the cop starts looking around and he sees them laughing. And so he walks over to them all pissed off and he's like, "What happened? This is not funny. If you guys witnessed anything, you need to tell me right now what you saw." And they're like, "Okay, man, we'll tell you what we saw. That's all right." So they recount all the information to him, from like the rollerblade guy falling into the bowl to him doing the drive-by punch and dropping into the bowl. They tell him everything. And he's like, "All right, so it seems like there was just a big brawl." And they're like, "Yeah, that's basically all it was. One group tripped someone, the other group decided to fight." But then he starts asking them questions that they just don't know the answer to. Like, they don't have the answer. "Well, why did they do that?" And they're like, I don't know, man. That's a great question. We don't know. We were just kind of watching it happen." And he's like, "Well, what do you mean you don't know? Aren't you guys skaters too?" And they're like, "Yeah, but I don't know why they fought. Just because we all ride a skateboard doesn't mean that I can just close my eyes and tell you what they're thinking." Hold on, let me close my eyes real quick. All of a sudden, like, going full Avatar mode, there's just a blue light behind him. "I can tell you the reason they fought. It was simple. They got tripped and pushed into a bowl, so his friends came over and punched him. That's it. There you go. There's the reason." Anyways, he's like, "Well, you guys don't seem to have any useful information." And they're like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, but we don't have any useful information because we didn't do it. Like, we were not the people that decided to get into the fight, so we only know what we saw." And he's like, "All right, well, we're going to close the skate park while we do an investigation. I called my partner, so you guys need to get out of here." And they're like, "All right, bro, whatever." I don't really know what the investigation was going to be. Can you imagine? They like wrap crime scene tape around it. They're doing measurements of how far the bowl is. I've never seen anything like this. You think it was the Beanie Baby gangs fighting over territory? Probably. Beanie Babies are on the rise again. Ever since the 90s, everyone's been trading the black market of Beanie Babies. Like, just the most absurd situation. I don't know why you have to close the skate park to investigate. Maybe they were closing it hoping that they wouldn't come back, like, and keep fighting, I guess. I don't know. Either way, they had gotten kicked out, so they ended up going home. And they get home, they're home a little bit early, and his friend's mom is like, "Oh, did anything happen? Like, why are you guys back early?" "Oh, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, there was no reason for us to come back early." Because the last thing you want to do is give your parents a reason to not want you to go to the skate park. Or do anything. Like, if something bad happens to happen while you're at your favorite place to hang out, you'll probably keep it under wraps. I don't encourage that. That's a bad idea. I just used to do the same thing. So, like, don't do that, but I can understand where they're coming from, because it'd be hypocritical for me to be like, "I never kept any secrets from my parents." Plus, they weren't involved in the brawl. If they would have been involved in the brawl, then they have to tell their parents, all right? That we'll meet a middle ground, okay? Shake hands. There we go. There's the middle ground. And life goes on. He ends up going home. But a few weeks later, he gets a text from his friend just to update him at the fact that apparently these same two groups had gotten into another brawl at that skate park, which... not a very swagtastic place to do it. Obviously, you're going to get caught if you decide to do it again, and you almost got caught last time, and they did end up getting caught. And so, obviously, they had to explain to the people that had caught them, like, "Okay, why did you guys get in a fight? What started this?" And this one had happened because one of the guys had brought a bag of Arby's with him and had sat it down to go over and help his friend film a trick really quick for his Instagram. And I guess the other group saw him put down his Arby's and decided that they were going to do something to start a fight. So they skate over to his Arby's while he's helping his friend, and they jump off their skateboard and they just curb stomped his food. Which I do have to say is gonna start a fight, man. Like, if you just bought some food and you set the bag down and somebody just walks over and stomps on it, and you know it's somebody you don't like and they look at you and like flip you off after it, you're probably gonna be pretty pissed off. Especially if you and this person have literally fought before, like the group was trying to start a fight. You can't tell me that that's not trying to start a fight. And that's evil, man. You don't mess with people's food. Like, that's too far. I would rather you walk up and punch me in the face than curb stomp my Arby's. That beef and cheddar never stood a chance. It had a beautiful chance at becoming a beautiful meal, and you took that away from it. They got banned from the skate park, got in a crap ton of trouble, but apparently it was worth it to get into another fight. I know this was a shorter story time, guys. I've got a long one coming, but if you did enjoy it, I would really appreciate y'all to take a second to press the like button and comment down below. I've been trying to post daily. If you appreciate it, please comment and like on the video. It means a lot, helps the video do better. And you should subscribe if you're new and turn on those notifications because I've been posting daily. You never want to miss out on another story time. If you like these but you don't want to watch it with gameplay, offline, whatever floats your boat, I do post the audio versions of these on Spotify. Link to that can be found down in the description. Feel free to go check it out, along with a link to a playlist I made here on YouTube of some of my favorite story times of the year so far. So if you need something to listen to while you're like, I don't know, playing video games, doing chores or whatever, feel free to use that. And yeah, on that note, guys, that'll do it for the video. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.